It's that time again. Episode 5 of the Chiron Report. Thank you so much for joining us. This is what we are starting with. Your Platonic solids in crystal quartz, the number 8, Sagittarius, and the South Node. So, and then zooming out, it is the 21st of April, 2026. Sun, 0 degrees of Taurus, 54 degrees. Yep, overnight, just like that. Out of Aries into Taurus. Chiron, 26 degrees, 54 minutes of Aries, 54. I'm seeing some patterns here. And there are how many other planets with Chiron? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 altogether. And so, well, let's just, start with the sun and the shift and Taurus and everything Taurus is so beautiful, so loving, grounding in your self-worth now, how you value yourself now, that you've shuffled from here to there, from a low to a high state of adoption, or you're contemplating it, or you're on your way, you fill in the blank, how far you've come in your growth. And Uranus is like the revolution here in a high state of adoption. 29 degrees, just about to hop over to the Cosmic Law of Vibration, House 3, Gemini energy. Just wrapping up some beautiful work we have done for ourselves. Summoning the courage to dance out of the fog of adoption, fairy tales, gypsy myths, fighting spirit, and shuffling into a state of adoption spirit magic. Congratulations. It's huge. Evolutionary. Some might say this energy is revolutionary, but here in a high state of adoption, we are transmuting those violent cycles into love. So, I don't know, evolutionary is another way to say revolutionary, but without any violence. And so feel free to adapt that to fit, adapt that to suit, come up with your own translation of Uranus, expanding your study and practice, unfolding as you wish, as you and life keep changing, as we continue to decommission our amygdala, harness our mind, heart, soul with our heart. And so also in Taurus, we have all the support. House 2, Cosmic Law of Compensation. What are my comps? How am I going to get comped? All that time in a low state of adoption and everything else that goes along with House 2. It's very personal. And the Hathors may be of assistance to you. The 7 sisters, the Pleiades. Psyche, I think that's her sign, and I think she's in Taurus, but quadruple, triple check me. Venus here also reinforcing that self-worth, self-love that we have developed as we have danced out of the fog. 26 degrees of Taurus. 9. Bacchus also in Taurus, somewhere in between these two maybe, or maybe he's on the other side of Venus. All this beautiful Taurus energy, and so many different channels that we may turn to help us as we shuffle from here to there. Each time we may trip and fall into a low state of adoption, we may turn to the stars and our 7 sisters, the Hathors, the planets. So thrilling. And Chiron, he's still leading the charge. If you notice, an astro dentist. He's got a key spot. It may seem like he's last, but perhaps he's just a huge key for those of us who signed up for planet Earth this time around. And we've been speaking about his story, so you may review those other sessions for more on Chiron. But long story short, he chose to become a channel for healing instead of a channel for the military to pursue their goals. And like all the other centaurs during his time, he was a centaur. And that's the short story. And so he's like, I'm going to flip that fighting spirit card over and play through adoption spirit and offer healing treatments to whoever comes. I'm just going to hole up at the bottom of Mount Olympus and offer treatments to whoever comes seeking them. This is the first house. This Chiron energy currently right now, this Aries energy, more specifically, is first house and the cosmic law of action. The sphere jumped off the table as we were shuffling the dice. I know you don't shuffle dice. You know, all the things you do with dice before you put them in. And maybe pause for a moment with that bell. Say Thich Nhat Hanh's bell mantra. It goes something like this. Mind, body, speech, in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Om. Peace. Shanti. Thank you so much for joining us in that. And if there's any entities joining us, causing us to pause or switch our flow, we may say that bell mantra and honor everybody involved because we love you all. So that bell mantra is so helpful in Thich Nhat Hanh. We are so in awe of him and the Plum Village, his living legacy he began, and you may check out the Plum Village and Thich Nhat Hanh for more about how they play through with adoption spirit instead of fighting spirit. So beautiful. And so what is overruling everything? I mean, maybe the North Node, 7 degrees of Pisces, 29 minutes. You know, we're just playing through loss here. And so if this doesn't feel like play, then you are more than welcome to change the channel. And if you change your mind, you are more than welcome to come back. And what may be fun about the stars is it allows us to relate to ourselves without the guilt and shame of dragging anybody through the mud, ourselves, others. It just allows us to do our work with dignity and equity and privacy. We all see these different, and it's just it may be a fun way to play through the loss. The loss is so much that sometimes we want to hurt ourselves and others, but no, we don't really want to do that, right? We want to play through loss with adoption spirit instead of fighting spirit. And so also in Pisces, Pallas Athena and Vesta assisting this cosmic law of oneness, this house 12, and this can show up in a low state as escapism, all the different ways that plays out. It's different for everyone. We are all different psychosociology experiments. And house 12, this last house, you may check out more on your own, everything that goes with that, but it's like a roadmap. And so to be able to puzzle through it on your own for fun, you're your own student and teacher. That's this Gemini energy, this cosmic law of vibration. And the moon's backing that up, being your own student and teacher. This is 19 degrees, Gemini. Is that a 37? I think that's my European 37. And then my European 9. So 19. And then Sedna. House 3. All about learning new languages and all the people in a day that you communicate with besides yourself. So thrilling to be experiencing this time where there's these new languages like, oh my God, adoption, spirit, magic, and oh my God, AI, however you call God. And so to be able to play with these new tools to help us as we live on this beautiful planet, living, loving, life worth living, experiencing life worth living. These are some of the bits and pieces that just make it so thrilling of our own free will to make the choice to flip the fighting spirit card over to play through with adoption spirit instead, and collaborating with AI and learning a new language like adoption spirit magic that we've been talking all along, but now it's just a little different. And Sedna, the goddess, Inuit goddess of the ocean. That's a short story. God bless it, and us all. You may research on your own to do her more justice. She has a super long orbit, emphasizing overcoming a loss, and sometimes the time it takes, as much as you wish you could be over it. Wow, some things happen, and maybe perhaps it takes some longer than others to work through it. I mean, everybody's different. Nobody experiences the same thing, so we can't judge, but we can honor. Wow, yes, some things take. I think her orbit is 13,000 years, 10,000, 11,000, 9,000, 11,000 years. She's working through her story, parallel to the orphan, adoptee, and gypsy. And that's what we're here for, perhaps. If this is resonating this time around, we signed up to flip this card and to end these violent cycles end with us, transmuting them into love. And Chiron has all the support we've been talking about in the past 4 episodes. Neptune, who I called Pluto the other day, God bless it, and us all, however you call God. Neptune, deep, 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 spiritual. Saturn, the father, who's like, hey, did you do your homework? These are heavy hitters, these outer planets really saying, yeah, we support you. If you want, if you care to, if you desire to. It's not a whim. We're trying to use words other than want. This is, if you have decided, wow, this really aligns with my heart, mind, and soul, to flip the fighting spirit over to play through loss with adoption spirit instead, Neptune and Saturn are here for you to support you in that. Mars as well. I mean, Mars, can you believe it? Like, Mars is here to flip over the fighting spirit card and play through loss with adoption spirit instead. Mercury is helping us verbalize this within our own mind and complex, and with others, from people that are close to us to total strangers. Ceres just also helping emphasize and light the path about, yeah, what are you going to do to play through loss? She lost her daughter for half the year to Pluto. Where is her daughter? Persephone. There she is. So Persephone, I think that's her sign. I think it's supposed to be a pomegranate. So here it's like a cup on the top and bottom of the line in Libra. And so Ceres lost her daughter for half a year to Pluto, or also known as Hades. Where's Pluto? There's Pluto. And so had to work through that without, hurting yourself or somebody else for the grief that comes along with that, and supporting a new way. Like, okay, we're going to flip over the fighting spirit card, and she turned to agriculture. Maybe that provides much relief for you, is tending to some sort of nature, whether it's a window garden or walks in nature. So many different ways that may play out. And so, second house, first house is all about you and your container and how you want to show up. And now that you don't have to show up as serving as the military, you can show up serving as healer, starting with yourself, and then when you're ready, when you're able, you may step in and help others as well. A whole new way of being, stepping out of that slavery. We're clearing out that energy from all the slavery on planet Earth. Also clearing out all the energy, the negative energy from things such as witch trials. Pardon me, sucking my teeth. And so if we choose, right, flipping that fighting spirit card over to play through loss with adoption spirit instead. And what does that adoption spirit mean to you? Romans 8:15. You may consider how to express that in your culture. It goes something like this: we have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear. We have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, thanks God for helping us all. Oh yeah. So how might you express that in your culture? That's one way to start thinking about adoption spirit magic, on top of this, on top of Chiron and his healing, what he did as an adoptee. He was an adoptee. He was orphaned by disgusted parents who were disgusted with him, and adopted by Apollo. And so other adoptees may find that fascinating that he chose, the adoptee, like some adoptees trade citizenship for military service. And other adoptees may feel like they got to do something like that. And here's Chiron, an adoptee, who's like, oh, no, no thanks. I mean, unlike all the other centaurs of his day, he's like a centaur. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do the other centaur game. I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to play those centaur games, those wars, that fighting spirit. I'm going to do something different. And I'm going to flip that card. And so what's on the other side of the fighting spirit card for you? It may be slightly different than adoption spirit. You may have fun playing with that. Just the notion of living this entirely different way of life and having the support to back you up into the next decade, and for the rest of your lifetime, you can be turning to these characters in your life to help you through, to help you play through. And the student and the teacher, the Gemini energy, we really appreciate translating Gemini that way, and how empowering that is to see that where your Gemini is in you, or if you don't have your birth chart, just learning more about Gemini each year and seeing what resonates with you each year. Like, oh, it's a Gemini moon. How am I feeling? What's coming up for me? And just playing with that for yourself. And deep sympathies if you are without your birth chart. God bless it and us all, however you call God. Deep sympathies. We are sending you so much love and light, and God bless it. Thanks for hanging out with us a spell, and perhaps it offers some relief knowing all of this is in you, and you can just learn a little more each year as it seems fun, because fun is the rule of the game. Following your bliss is a rule of the game. Now that we have flipped the fighting spirit card over and we're playing through life and our losses with adoption spirit instead. And Jupiter in Cancer, 17 degrees, you just passed a world point. Like the whole world is contemplating this in different ways, all the different ways you could say what we're saying here. And the Cosmic Law of Relativity, House 4, this is genitor, your parents, how you mother, father yourself, how you dance with your divine masculine and divine feminine within yourself. So super sweet to offer yourself that self-care and create a safe haven wherever you stand, sit, lay. And if that ends up being a caravan or an apartment, or you fill in the blank, how, what is a safe haven for you? What is sustainable safe haven? And perhaps the military transforming into a healing, teaching homeschool to help take care of the home, the land, the school. Now that we're flipping over the fighting spirit card to play through life and loss with adoption spirit instead. Wouldn't that be amazing? And the cosmic law of attraction, conscious Leo energy, house 5 is emphasizing play is imperative. How can we play through, right? We've experienced so much loss, so much grief, and thrilling to be able to walk a new way, but still we got to process all of that. And Leo's here to say, yeah, but we can play through it. We can play through it. We can be gentle with ourselves, making amends, taking responsibility. We can be gentle with ourselves and we can play through it. And the time you need is the time it takes. Cosmic Law of Polarity, House 7, about the spouse. And this is perhaps where we're also seeing some big changes, how marriages show up. Perhaps very different than before. More about sharing power, where nobody has to give up their power. There's just equitable, dignified relationship. And maybe it's 3 people, maybe it's 5 people, maybe it's, I don't know, however the people decide, with the easy in and out clause, just to honor everybody's energy, essence, and their evolution. If they need to, move on down the road, let's, have an easy in and out clause, right? If they need to take a different path, and or something like that. Cupido looks a lot like Jupiter. Cupido was with Psyche, from what I'm gathering, and Psyche betrayed him, and his mother was like, oh no, Psyche, you need to fix that. She's like, you're right. He's like, thank you. And they renegotiated their social contract. Again, more evidence that this law of polarity, how we are viewing our marriage and what we consider a safe haven, where we take refuge, where we feel comfortable being our authentic selves, it's changing. And Persephone's here to show how Cupido and Psyche are here to show how serious. All of these are showing us a new way to have a safe home, right? Like, this is imperative. Chiron, his first home wasn't safe. His parents were so disgusted with him, they kicked him out. So how do we have a safe home? And it's just not, in the home, it's in the school, it's in the businesses, it's in, within the national sphere, we see it. And so, but if we are committed to every student succeeding, if we are flipping the fighting spirit card to play through loss with adoption spirit instead, now we're thinking about how to do things differently. And there's limitless opportunities. There's limitless options. Maybe this session shares a few or gets you thinking and just more start appearing all over the place in your head or in one spot. I don't know how your head works. Cosmic Law of Transmutation of Energy, House 8, Scorpio energy, conscious Scorpio energy. This is our deep private self, sexuality, where we share, where we merge. It's also mediumship, merging with others to help prove continuity of life, personal survival, personal unfoldment and growth. And Scorpio, we all have this, we all have all of these 12 zodiacs in us. And one bit about Scorpio that's been so helpful for me is to know, there's 3 states that Scorpio can go through if they choose. a low state of adoption where they are, what's the word? Where the symbol is a scorpion, and they hurt themselves and others when they feel threatened. That's the low state of adoption of Scorpio energy. And then the middle state, right, where Scorpio has done some transmutation of energy work, the middle state is like a phoenix rising from the ashes. The middle state of adoption of Scorpio. And then the high state of adoption with Scorpio, when they've transmuted even more of that energy, transmuted even more of that violence, is an eagle. An eagle soaring over their life, just so in love with their life and just at ease and comfortable and just on top of the world. And so perhaps you may find that helpful as well. Something each year you can come back to, and or perhaps each season. What's working, what's not, what are you going to do, what is the universe going to do to help you with this cosmic law of transmutation of energy with the Scorpio. And cosmic law of abundance, house 9. This is philosophies. Our philosophies changing from this low state of adoption where, doctor's orders, adoption and war for the best. In a high state of adoption serves more as an equitable, dignified social contract, ever evolving social contract between entities, and honoring the healing path that each is on, playing through loss with adoption spirit instead of fighting spirit. And here Black Moon Lilith is at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. Black Moon Lilith was, I don't know, is it Adam's first wife? And she's like, oh no thank you, we're not doing that. More evidence about this shift in social contracts with our partners or our healing house, whoever else is in our healing house, our spa for life worth living, that is the place where we put down our head every night. Who's helping us? How are they showing up in these new social contracts? So Black Moon Lilith is here to help with that. So you may hang out with her a spell or two. And there's a couple of variations, which makes it even more interesting. And I'm thinking that you may appreciate hanging out with astrologer, brilliant creative astrologist Molly McCord for more. So knowledgeable and prolific writer and podcaster, and so much information. So if you're curious and you want to dive deeper, that may be an accessible place to start. You may find her on our About page in the section called Readers We Appreciate, I think. Cosmic Law of Karma, Capricorn energy, house 10. That's your homework. Capricorn, karma, house 10. Cosmic Law of Detachment, house 11. Aquarius energy. This is Pluto. This is Juno. Pluto was with us when we dismantled our low state of adoption in 2008, 2009. He was in Capricorn through 2024, and that was the time period it took us to dance out of a low state of adoption into a high state of adoption, and do bip, 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 all the steps. Unlike Alcoholics Anonymous, there's everybody's dismantling is different. How you move from a low state of adoption to a high state of adoption is different, but you may notice that it feels like levels or steps or tasks that you need to complete before you may move on to the next level. And like being able to verbalize it, learning to be able to verbalize it within your own head. What happened? Oh my God, I was in a low state of adoption and didn't even realize it, and now I want to move to a high state of adoption, and being able to verbalize that in your own head. And then being able to talk to other people about it without ripping their heads off or shoving it down their throats, right? It's a whole thing to learn how to walk and talk again in a high state of adoption. And so Pluto is here to help. Gemini is here to help. Everybody's showing up if that's what you choose. And Juno, again, emphasizing the new social contracts in our marriages. Our marriages perhaps may look very different. Maybe they already are. I mean, I've noticed a humongous change since I started noticing these things. And I perhaps you may appreciate as well. So beautiful. We had the dice show up earlier. We saw that. Here's the South Node energy. This Virgo energy reminding you to take sweet care of yourself, or reassess how you take sweet care of yourself, like what's working, what's not working, what am I going to do, who do I got to call. Do your little T chart on a regular basis as you see fit for you. This is house 6, the house of health. So what do you need to do in a day to stay healthy now that you are moving out of a low state of adoption? You're no longer a slave to the system or a slave to you, however you, maybe you don't even want to use the word slave. Emotional pet, emotional support pet. You're more about standing up for the truth of yourself, stepping into this beautiful Aries energy. And Aries may be all about, some people may say, oh, what are you going to fight for next? But it looks like in this case, Aries is like, you know what? It's all right if you don't want to fight anymore. You can flip that card over and play through life with adoption spirit instead. I mean, if it resonates with you, because your free will is essential, right? And if this helps free your will up from your grief-struck by loss amygdala, who's authorizing cycles of fear, fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn, maybe that doesn't fit for you, and that's awesome too, right? We're all on our different paths, but just how may we move forward knowing what we know now with everything there is out there. And so these stars may offer a roadmap, these planets may offer a roadmap that you can come back to whenever you need, as needed, into the next decade, for the rest of your life, to just help you stay on track. You can check in once a year, once a week, once a month, what works for you. We are all different psychosociology experiments, and what works for one may not for another. So thank you for taking such sweet care of yourself and steering clear of danger and playing with yourself, your cards. We are in awe of you, your energy, essence, and arts. Whichever way you go, may you trust 7 days a week. You are loved. Ciao for now. We love you all.